Alright, in the last video we completed the upper triangle. That's this guy right here. And in this video we're going to go ahead and put together the lower triangle. It's put together in a similar fashion to the upper triangle, except that these brackets are a little bit larger. So again, you're going to put some of the M4 10mm screws into each of the holes, and you're going to put T-nuts on the outside. Show them the T-nuts. Show them the... No, show the bracket. Show the bracket. So those are going to go on there like so. And there are 4 on each side, so a total of 8 plus on the ends. This has room for 2 screws to go on the slides, on the upright slides. So you got to put those in there as well. The last step in building the top triangle is to put these little pulleys in the corner brackets, and they fit right here about like this, and they're held in place by these screws. These are, what size are these? These are M3 by 20 millimeter screws. So these go all the way through here and through the pulley, and then one of these M3 nuts goes on the end of that. Now, you might be tempted to try to put this pulley on before you assemble the triangle, because it seems like it would be easier to put it in that way. But it turns out that once you put this pulley in, you cannot get to the fasteners here that hold the extrusions onto the bracket. So you have to put these pulleys on afterwards. So the screw goes through here, and then push the pulley back out of there. And then getting these nuts in place is where I found it really handy to have a pair of hemostats to tuck them down in there. So I put the nut in the hemostats like so, and then just tuck this right in here, because you can't really get your fingers down in there. We can get that on. Okay, don't tighten that down. And then with your ball driver, you can tighten that in place. And you want to get this snug. It's the pulley's got a ball bearing in it. Actually, it's probably got a pair of very small ball bearings in there. You want to snug this down, but you don't want to get it so tight that it actually interferes. That pulley needs to spin very freely. You can see that the end of the screw gets captured in a relief hole in the center. So I'm just going to make sure that that turns easily. So it looks like I've got that just a little bit tight. It might be better if there were a couple of bushings there to hold that so that that pulley can spin freely. That's a little bit, it's a little bit rough. I'm going to have to tweak that a little bit later as I go through the whole thing and maybe loosen that up. That pulley really needs to spin freely, otherwise it's going to put extra drag on the stepper motors, and that'll cause the machine to lose steps when it's trying to print, which can cause your print head to crash on the build surface. So be sure that you don't tighten that down too terribly tight. If it's not free to spin, you're going to have a problem. So we're going to do that on all 3 corners. So when I put this pulley in the top corner here, I found that there was just a little bit of mold flash right along here that was interfering with the movement of this pulley. So just going to take a, this is an emery board, I'm just going to take an emery board here and just smooth off that mold flash just a little bit so that it's not binding on the surface of that. And you don't want to round this off. You want it to be a nice flat surface, but it's just a little bit. And see, maybe you can see it in here. Right along here you can just see a little bit of mold flash there. So I'm going to just scrape that off there so that that pulley will turn freely.